Hello there, everyone. The other day I ordered something from eBay and recently it arrived and I wanted to do a little unboxing, a little show and tell, if you will, of it. Not only because it's something I'm super into that I want to show off, but mostly because there is very little documentation on this thing, at least on the English side of the internet. So I don't really care how many views this video gets. I mostly just wanted to record for the sake of documentation, like I said, for the English side of the internet, because if you search this sort of thing, you barely get any results at all. So it is right here, and even though I'm calling this an unboxing, I've technically opened it already because I wanted to make sure that everything was in there, because as soon as it arrived, the person who sent it was asking me to make sure that everything arrived in one piece, right? And I didn't want to leave them hanging, so I wanted to give them an answer immediately, but obviously I didn't want to immediately record as soon as this thing got here. So it is open already, so this is more of a show and tell. But I didn't actually fully open it, which will make more sense once you see what it is. Also, unlike my last unboxing video in which I recorded in a room with actual good natural lighting and then recorded a voiceover later post-hoc for, this time I'm obviously just recording everything in real time, and it's because with this in particular, I thought it would be way too valuable to have real-time commentary so I could point to things and talk about things without being rushed to sync up a separate voiceover with however long I linger the camera on something, and how I did the last unboxing. So to assuage that a little bit, I will take some pictures, some more professional pictures with better lighting, with natural lighting, and I will put them on the screen either throughout the video or at the end. You will see them when it shows up, right? So that was basically all to say that this is probably going to look better in real life than what you're seeing in the video. Anyways, I will open it up now, and there's actually more than one thing in here, so don't peace out as soon as you see one thing. There's actually more than one thing in here. So maybe you guys will recognize this as soon as I open it. Here, I'll open it on camera. So again, it's not going to look super great right now because I have a bunch of lights in here and it's in plastic right now, and that is why it's reflecting so much light. But if you guys have been watching some of my streams or even just watching some of my YouTube videos, then you might immediately recognize this as something that I have been talking about so much. I will not shut up about this. This is, what you're looking at right here is part of the key art of the 2023 Capcom Cross Tezuka art collaboration. There's an art exhibit going on in Japan right now. Weirdly enough, I won't talk about this too much because I made another video talking about this before, showing off the key art. But a few years ago, there was an art exhibit in which Capcom and Tezuka did a collaboration, and Tezuka Foundation artists drew Capcom characters in the Tezuka art style, and likewise, Capcom artists drew Tezuka characters in their own Capcom art styles, right? And I was super interested in that the first time, right? But weirdly enough, a second one got announced for 2023, and it's actually ongoing right now, which is why I was able to get this, because at the art exhibit, they are selling goods. You'll see this once I open it up fully, but the weird part about this art exhibit in particular is that despite this being another collaboration between Capcom and the Tezuka Foundation in general, is that for some reason, on the Capcom side, it's really focused on Street Fighter, and not just Street Fighter in general, but particularly Street Fighter 6. So it comes across as a promotion, as a promotional thing for Street Fighter 6, but that's weird that it's weird that it's so specifically promoting one specific new game, when you would assume that a collaboration with a company with as much history as the Tezuka Foundation, you would expect such a thing to cover things more in general and not particular games so hard, right? But I think it's cool because I love Street Fighter 6, right? I'm having a blast with that game. So I will unfold the shirt. Like I said, I already opened this to make sure everything was in here, but I have not actually unfolded everything. And so I want to point out some of the things on here. the first art exhibit also had a shirt that I never got. Not only because it just rarely ever showed up on eBay, but also because it was white, and I'm not super into white shirts. I much prefer wearing black. So when I saw that the 2023 shirt was black, that's why I specifically sought this one out. So obviously this is the main key art. Somewhat disappointingly, I think with this shirt, the main key art is on the back, whereas with the last art exhibit shirt had it on the front. But if I'm wearing this for a live stream, I might just deliberately wear it backwards. So let me stand up here. So yes, this is the back of the shirt. I think it's kind of weird that you can see the frame of the key art's boundaries despite its background being black, and with the shirt being black, I feel as if this should be a seamless line. It looks a little weird. That makes it look a little unofficial, but the fact remains that it literally is official. So no matter how unofficial it looks, it's still official, so it doesn't bother me that much, but I do think it's a little weird. So there's the main key art. Like I said, that's the back. This would be the front. So on the front, you get a little logo of the collaboration logo for both Capcom and Tezuka, specifically the 2023 logo here. Like I said, if I'm on a live stream, I might just flip it around backwards, and nobody's going to know it's backwards, right? Except anyone that's watched this video. I specifically got this in XL because the Japanese sizes are different than American sizes, so I wanted to just play it safe, and so this actually wasn't explicitly listed on eBay. I was actually looking around on eBay. I've been checking the eBay search results for Tezuka Cross Capcom 2023. I had been checking it almost every day to see when a shirt would pop up because I was seeing several of the goodies from the exhibit show up, but rarely would I see a shirt pop up, right? And I didn't want to miss when a shirt would pop up. And I never saw one show up, but I noticed that on some of the listings that were all posted by the same person, in the description, they said that if there's something not explicitly listed, you could send a message to the lister and ask them if they could pick it up. And so I specifically asked if they could, well, I didn't ask them to go to the art exhibit. I was asking that if they were going back to the art exhibit anyway, if they could pick up one of the shirts, right? And so I specifically asked for the largest one they had because they only had medium, large, XL, and when I say ML, XL, these are actually Japanese ML, XL, and I think the Japanese sizes, as far as I could find, the Japanese sizes are one size offset from American sizes, so a Japanese XL, I think, is an American L. But that's fine for me because I can wear L. Even though I normally prefer XL, L actually fits me better. So this is the shirt, and so I wanted to actually point out some of the characters on the key art here, why I think it's so interesting compared to the last key art from the last art exhibit. So first of all, I think it's awesome that Pluto is right in the middle. I think that makes a pretty cool centerpiece because his hands are actually down here, right? So obviously, just like a normal photo shoot, you put the tallest guys in the back, right? But it's actually an original design of Pluto. I don't think Pluto has ever been depicted that way, which I think is really cool because Urasawa's adaptation of the Pluto arc in Astro Boy is actually getting an anime this year. It's either later this year or early next year. So I think it's cool that Pluto is getting he just got a random cool-looking redesign. Maybe it's because of the anime coming out. I don't know if he's going to look like this in the anime. I doubt it. I think this is actually just an original design purely for this art exhibit, which makes it cooler in my opinion. But also, like I was saying, you have Ryu and Chun-Li there, right? Unsurprisingly, you have Ryu and Chun-Li. But they are in their Street Fighter 6 depictions specifically, and not only do you have Ryu and Chun-Li in their Street Fighter 6 depictions, but you also get Street Fighter 6 specific Street Fighter characters, such as Marisa up there, and Jamie right there, and Luke. I know Luke was in 5 also, but he's basically a Street Fighter 6 character, right? Because he was sort of a guest character in 5. So, A very large percentage of the Capcom side is specifically Street Fighter 6. That's what I was talking about. A little weird. But even more surprisingly is that you have Star Gladiator and Cyberbots characters here. So you have Hayato from Star Gladiator and Jin Saotome. And this is new art. So we actually got new official art of Hayato and Jin Saotome in 2023. So I think that's really exciting. But again, I made a YouTube video talking about this key art already, so I don't want to talk about it for too long. I just wanted to show it off again here. Yeah, I love everything about this key art. So, that's the shirt. If I talk about every single character on the art here, this video will probably be way too long. So I will save my breath regarding that, and I will show you guys what else I got in here, because like I said, I was asking someone on eBay if they could look for this thing and grab it for me, right? And I figured, well, if I'm going to go through the effort of asking someone to go find something in particular, and if I'm going to have them put in the time and work to go find something, right, I should probably make it more worth it. And so instead of just asking for one thing, I should ask them to go look for another thing. Also, just in case they didn't have a shirt, right? I didn't want their trip to be for nothing. And so I asked them if there was something else they could look for, and they actually did find it, which is this right here. So I'm sure everybody knows about the shirt, right? Because I'm sure more people have seen the key art than the amount of people that have seen the individual illustrations. So I don't know if you can fully see what that is yet in the bubble wrap, but I will open it here. Okay. So if you can't tell what this is a Tezuka character, specifically Pluto and Astro Boy right there, as drawn by a Capcom artist. And they didn't specifically say which Capcom, well, maybe they did, but I couldn't find a spot where they specifically said which Capcom artist did which illustration. But I actually think pretty confidently this is Shinkiro. I think this is Shinkiro's own take on Pluto and Astro Boy. And the reason I think it's Shinkiro is just because of how the lighting is. If you look at the rendering, that looks like Shinkiro rendering. Very similar to how he has rendered other mecha things in the past, which might sound weird to some people because I know most people, when they think of Shinkiro art, they think of human characters, right? Because Shinkiro does a lot of fighting game characters, a lot of human characters, and a common critique I hear about Shinkiro's art is that he doesn't have much range because all of his human characters end up having the same faces, which isn't inaccurate, right? Because a lot of his human characters do have very similar looking faces. I don't think that makes him a bad artist, because I think the way he draws them is so good, it doesn't really matter that some of their faces are similar. But my point is that he actually has drawn some mecha before, so he actually does have more range than what a lot of people give him credit for. Specifically, the ones I can think of are Zero and Mega Man Volnut from Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Shinkiro did renders of Zero and Mega Man Volnut in that game, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, and he also did an illustration for, it was a few years ago, I don't remember how many years ago, but it was a few years ago, for one of the big anniversary years for Mega Man, in which Capcom had a bunch of their artists make a phone wallpaper, make an original illustration in a phone wallpaper format, a vertical format that would fit a phone wallpaper, a phone background, right? And one of those was Shinkiro, and I remember distinctly in both that illustration and also for Zero and Mega Man Volnut from Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, his robots had the same exact kind of rendering as this. So I think it's pretty cool that his very unique rendering style can be seen not only on human characters, but also mechanical things, right? Unless I'm just completely wrong, unless this is a completely different artist, in which case, please correct me because I want to know, but I'm pretty sure this is Shinkuro, which I think is awesome because this is a crazy coincidence because whether Shinkuro did the Pluto illustration or not, I would have wanted to get the, I didn't even explain what this is, but this is an acrylic stand, right? Because they sell art cards, so you could get these individual character illustrations on a piece of paper, or you could get them as an acrylic, and I figured I would get more value out of an acrylic stand, right? Because I could place it and have some sort of three-dimensionality to it. Whereas on a piece of paper, I think I would be getting the same personal value out of looking at art on a piece of paper as I would just looking at the illustration on the computer, right? What was I saying? Oh yeah, so my point was that I love Astro Boy, and I think the Pluto arc specifically is one of, if not the best arcs from Astro Boy, right? I've loved Astro Boy ever since I watched the 2003 reboot when I was a kid. So my point is that regardless who did the illustration for Pluto, regardless of whoever got tasked with Pluto or whoever got to pick Pluto, I would want to get the Pluto acrylic. So I think it's a crazy coincidence that the main character I wanted to get also happened to be drawn by one of my favorite Capcom artists. I also got the, just speaking of Shinkuro, I recently also got the Street Fighter comic with the Shinkuro variant cover. So anyways, that's just, my point is that this isn't my first Shinkuro art that I have acquired. So I think I'll open this one on video and set it up. And of course, like I said, I'll be taking some more pictures of this. Yeah, I think I'll actually open this because if I just wanted to keep it sealed as a collector's thing, and if I just looked at this every now and then, I would be getting the same enjoyment out of just looking at this as I would looking at the illustration on the computer. I think I want to get, okay, no, I don't need scissors. They have it where you can open it pretty easily on the back. Okay, so my hands are typically very sweaty, and right now is no exception, so you might see a little bit of smudging as I set this up right now. But I will wipe it off later when I take actual pictures of it. Also, I think it's kind of great that Astro Boy is on here as well, because a lot of these acrylics only have one character. So this one's almost as if it's a 2-for-1, right? Because you got both Astro Boy and Pluto illustrated by a Capcom artist. Also, just another thing about how crazy good Shinkuro is at somehow emulating three-dimensionality on his illustrations. The smoke here, the smoke almost looks like some kind of computer render, right? It's crazy how Shinkuro can make his illustrations look like 3D models, even though it is an illustration. Let me see if I can get this to focus a bit better. Yeah, and that's a completely original design for Pluto. So not only did we get the new design on the main key art, as I showed you on the shirt, but we also got an original design here as well. So I feel kind of lucky that one of my favorite characters got two original designs, not just one. Here's the base. And I'm just going to slide this in before I show you something else. A couple other things. Very nice. Well, even if it's not focusing, you guys will see it later when I show you a picture. So I'm assuming you want the logo to be readable on the front, right? Oh, on the front, right? That just slides right in. Nothing too fancy. I think I will set this back there for now. Hopefully it doesn't have a big glare on it, right? Yeah, this is really impressive, though. That's not bad. It's not reflecting too much light there. You can still see the silhouette because Pluto has such a strong silhouette with the horns and everything. You can see the little red on Astro Boy's boots. Okay, so the shirt and that acrylic stand were the two things that I specifically asked for. Those were the two only things, and the person even messaged me back saying, okay, are you sure that's it? Is there anything else you would want? And even though ideally I would like to get everything from the art exhibit, in terms of the two things I specifically was willing to buy, right? Those are the only two things, really. Maybe I'll go back and try to buy some other stuff from the art exhibit before it closes in October. But those were the two main things, really, because I really only wanted the shirt, and I just asked for the acrylic stand just in case they didn't have the shirt, right? But the person who went out and got these things was actually super nice, and they threw in a couple of other things that I didn't even specifically ask for. And they just threw these in after we had already negotiated a price just for the shirt and the acrylic stand. So big thanks to the seller. And so one of the other things they threw in is this pin. You can see the official Capcom seal of approval right here. Mega Man's face. And they said they won this pin. I don't know if that was just mistranslation because of the language barrier, because it was obvious that English wasn't their first language. But they said that they won this pin, and so I don't know if they actually had to do some kind of competition or some kind of quiz thing or some kind of like raffle or drawing, but they said they won this, which makes me feel as if I should take a bit better care of it. And also, if you're wondering what the pin inside actually has on it, it's actually the same exact art. It's the same exact illustration as the one on that acrylic. So I'm guessing the person who went out and got these things, they already knew that I liked Pluto, right? They already knew that I was an Astro Boy fan because of that. So that must be why they got the pin with the same illustration on it. So I don't really need to show you guys because, again, it's the same illustration, but it's cropped a little bit where you can just see Pluto's face and Astro Boy on the side. So I don't think I need to open it. Plus, I don't really use pins for anything, so I don't think I want to open this until I have some sort of actual reason to use it, if I ever do get a reason to use it. So I think in the meantime, I'm going to keep it sealed because I know exactly what is inside. But I wanted to bring it up because I thought that was super nice that they threw in something else, right? But also, not only that, so before they shipped it, they actually told me that they threw this in, right? And I was telling them thank you, but they didn't even mention this. I didn't learn about this other thing that they threw in until I actually opened the box the other day. And this isn't that big of a deal, right? It's just a plastic bag. But for someone like me who's living in the United States, who can't just order these things from Japan, because this art exhibit specifically is not selling any of these things online, right? The only way you can get these things is if someone goes there and then sells it on eBay. So you can't just order these things, right? So even though it is just a plastic bag, I still think it's pretty cool because, just purely because of the exclusivity of it. Because this is something you literally can't get unless someone physically goes into the art exhibit, right? And as you already saw, it has a bunch of faces of Tezuka characters on it. So I actually haven't unfolded this yet. Oh, look at that. I didn't even see this side. Has a big Astro Boy on this side, and a bunch of Tezuka characters on this side. This one, it doesn't even have any Capcom stuff on it. So it makes me wonder if there were some bags like this and other bags that just had Capcom characters, or maybe they only had an all Tezuka bag. And I wonder if they all happen to have Astro Boy on it, right? Because I know Astro Boy is pretty much the mascot of Tezuka Foundation, but it makes me wonder if there were other versions with different characters. But even if there were other versions with different characters, I'm glad that I got the one with Astro Boy on it, right? So I don't really know what I can use this for, right? Because it's plastic, so I don't really want to fill it with a bunch of stuff, because if I were to fill it with a bunch of stuff, I'm worried it would get stretched out or something. So I think I might just keep it folded up and store it somewhere with my pin that I'm keeping sealed. Also, speaking of Phoenix, new Phoenix anime coming out. The Phoenix is an anthology, and the new Phoenix that's coming out soon is one of the arcs from the anthology from the manga that was never actually adapted in the 2004. I'm pretty sure they're picking an arc from the manga that wasn't actually adapted in the 2004 anime, because I watched the 2004 anime, but I know it doesn't include all of the arcs, and I can't actually read the arcs that weren't adapted because I can't find any kind of way to buy the manga for a reasonable price. So I'm really glad that at least one of the other arcs is getting adapted. So I just wanted to bring that up because I was talking about the new Pluto anime coming out. So not only are we getting a new Pluto anime coming out, but we're also getting a new Phoenix anime. So I think this is a pretty exciting and pretty good timing, considering we have two Tezuka related things coming out soon. Man, the only thing that could make this better is if it actually turns into a game. That's what my other YouTube video was talking about. In fact, I might put it on the screen right now because this was made, and I don't know if it was made since I recorded that last video, but this has been posted since I made that last video. Somebody, one of the artists at this exhibit, one of the artists in this collaboration, literally made a mock-up fighting game character select screen for a fictional Tezuka cross Capcom game, and that's such a tease. So the only thing that could make this better is if they literally just turn it into a game. Please. Ooh, also, I didn't notice this at first, but there is a little pamphlet in here, and if you unfold it, even though it's all in Japanese, I can clearly see that this is a map. This is seemingly a map of the inside of the Tezuka Museum. I'm pretty sure that's where the art exhibit is being held. It's inside of the Tezuka Museum. And so this must be some kind of map for people visiting, right? So I want to show this off clearly because I don't think anybody has posted this anywhere. You can go ahead and pause it if you're able to translate this. Focus on that. Because I don't think this was I don't think I had these few speech bubbles legible. There we go. So you can pause that and translate it. I might translate some of it myself. I know a little bit of Japanese. So anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. I didn't know this is going to end up being as long as it is. I might go back and cut out some of the space just to streamline it. But again, I don't really care how many views this video gets, so I don't think I really care too much about the audience retention or anything. I just wanted to make a documentation of this thing. And if I'm going to make a documentation of this thing, I might as well just use that as an excuse to talk about something that I really like. So thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know what you think about the whole thing in the comments, and I will see all of you guys later. So with all that said, bye for now.